Hi and welcome back to my channel. As you know, this channel is South African based, so today I will be reviewing a Suzukiswiftsport. Yeah, I don't wanna lie, this is a very beautiful car. Like when I went there to the dealership, I was very tempted. It's a very pretty car. Like you can see even the size, the wheelbase to the size ratio is perfect. This is a car that you can just see that you can just throw it around the bends at the corners. So unfortunately, because my channel hasn't really grown that much at the moment, I can only offer you the external review of the car and the features that it contains. So the car that you're looking at right now, this is a second-hand model car, which means that someone went to the dealership and they bought the car and they drove it for certain kilometers until they decided that they want to sell it back to the dealership. So the car that you're looking at, this is a 2020 model. So basically this car, in terms of power output, it can produce up to 103 kilowatts and 230 newton meters of torque. I know that in terms of kilowatts that doesn't mean anything to you, so I'll explain in terms of horsepower. It means that this car is approximately 138 HP, which is British horsepower. So that's a lot of horsepower in a very light car. So this car, in terms of weight, it goes around 970 kilograms, and that's very light. So you can imagine that amount of power in a car like mine, which is a Toyota Etios. So you can imagine, because they're weighing roughly the same amount of weight, because the Toyota Etios weighs around 900 kilograms, so that's almost double the power. So when you compare in terms of the power, let's say the Polo Life has 70 kilowatts and they weigh roughly the same. So you can just imagine the amount of power output that this car is gonna have. Like this car is gonna feel very fast. And also in terms of the Polo Life, the pies are very closely isolated. So at the same time, for the amount of power that the car is offering, so it's a very cheap car in terms of the power that's offering. So this car, when it's new, not the one that you're looking at the moment, when it's new, it can go for around 419,000 rands, not dollars. So yeah, I know that's a lot of money in terms of our economy, but at the same time, people are paying similar prices for a Polo Life. So which one do you want to sacrifice? And this one comes in terms of engine capacity is 1.4 liters as compared to the one on the Polo Life, which is 1 liter. So you gotta choose which one do you want in terms of the engine capacity. Do you want this car or Polo? But from what I've seen so far in terms of the interior, I would say that the Polo wins on that case. So let's go over other things which you can really comprehend. So this car, in terms of driving, let's say you're driving on the highway, it's gonna eat 6.1 liters per 100 kilometers. That's more or less the same as the Toyota Etios. So I already know that it's very light in terms of petrol, but obviously for city driving, just for that, city driving eats more petrol. So rather you just take the highway and just pay for those toll gates, because at the end of the day you're gonna pay roughly the same amount or more. So this car is a 37 liter in terms of petrol fuel capacity. So in the current fuel rates, are going for 22 rand 06 cents in terms of liter, 1 liter of petrol. So let's say you pour a full tank on this car, you're gonna pay approximately 816 rands per full tank. But we know that as individuals, we never use one full tank per month. That's highly impossible, especially if you're going to work every day. So let's say you use 3 full tanks every month. For this car, you can expect to pay between 2,400. So every month you should have at least 2,400. And if you do a lot of city driving, I would expect you to have slightly more than that. And also, let's not forget, we as individuals, we like going out. So in terms of top speed, this car can go up to 205 kilometers per hour. Yeah, I would advise you not to do that in our current roads. You're gonna hit a pothole and you're gonna die. So definitely the sweet spot in terms of speed, you just need 120. You don't need to risk your life, especially in our roads where there's a lot of marketers who drive recklessly. Every time we have to be running away from them. So anytime that you want to buy a car, you need to think about the cost of ownership. You need to think about how much will it cost me to service the car. And I think that people forget the most is tires. How much does it take to change the tires? Because I'm tired, like every time when you go to Webuycars these days, when you look at the decor report and the pictures of the car, you find that the tires which are on those cars, they are very old. So basically the people who are using those cars, they don't change their tires because their tires are so expensive. So you can imagine if one of your tire cost 6,000 and you have to pay 2,000, not 2,000, I mean 12,000. Like who has 12,000 just lying around in this economy where inflation is so much? So let me just go through the basic numbers. So they might not be 100% correct, but they can give you a basic outline in terms of how much you would spend. So if you buy this car and you need to change the tires, so this car is currently running at size 17 tires, and these are those thin tires, those ones where you hit pothole and it's gone. So just know that these tires, we might be changing them more often than usual, because the lower the trend line of the tire, it means that it doesn't absorb a lot of force. So if it hits a pothole, it can even damage the rim of the tire, but in this case the mag of the tire. So you can expect to pay anything between 3,000 to 6,000 one tire at a time. So you can expect to pay anything between 6,000 for 2 tires or 12,000 for 2 tires for this car. So that's something that you need to put into consideration, that okay, if I'm buying this car and in the states of our road, I might be changing the tires more often. So in terms of the service plan, let's say that you decide that this car, when it's new, is too expensive for me, then I want a second hand. So you need to check the year that the car was in the market and the current year. So for example, this one is 2020, and we know that the service plan goes for 4 years or 60,000 kilometers, whatever one that comes first. So if you're buying it now, 2020, that's 1, 2, 3, so which means it's left with only 1 year of service. They're going to service your car only for 1 year. So let's say you buy the car and now they service the car for 1 year. So you need to know how much are you going to spend in terms of service plan for your car, so that you know that every time when you service your car, like for example, my car gets serviced for 10,000 kilometers. After every 10,000 kilometers intervals, I need to service the car, and I'm saving it myself because it's out of the service plan. I think one day I need to explain these things about service plan, the one that dealerships attach to second-hand cars. I think I need to explain the trick based on that. That might be very useful information. So in terms of service kit, the brakes of this car, because it's a very fast car, you're going to be using them a lot. They can cost up to 500. So you can pay up to 500 in terms of the brakes. The service kit can go from 1,000 to 2,500. So from what I know, the more expensive the car is, the more expensive in terms of the service kit. And also you must also counter for insurance, how much you might pay. Just know that for this car you're gonna pay more than 1.5 in terms of insurance. So I went ahead and went to Hippo and did a quotation in terms of the insurance. I just wanted to show you how much you can expect to pay in terms of the insurance. So I'm using my details, but all the details that I've plugged are for this car specifically that we're seeing here, the red one. So as you can see, in terms of the price, the insurance is not cheap. Just know that insurance for cars which are considered to be fast or sporty cars, yeah, you're gonna pay a lot. So you need to keep that in mind, that's for sure. but if you get anything lower than that, then good for you. So let's say you buy this car for 490,000 rand. So I'm just going to give you a rough estimate. You can expect to pay at least 6,000 per month, but that 6,000 per month might have balloon payment, which I wouldn't advise. So I'd just advise you that maybe you pay deposit. That will help to alleviate in terms of the installments. So I just noted that this video is getting a bit too long, and there's so many things that we can cover in terms of cars. So I've decided that I'm gonna end this video right here, and if you want more information that you feel like I've missed out in this video, that you want me to make a separate video, just let me know in the comment section and I'll go ahead and do that. And I just want to thank you for watching this video, for taking your time to watch. And at the moment, in terms of the goal is to reach 1,000 subscribers by December, and I can only do that with your support by hitting the like and subscribe button. And again, I'll see you on the next one.